All right, hello and welcome back to 2016-2017 Amana Elementary. In an attempt to save us some time on Friday at our staff meeting, I'm going to go through some news and notes and different things for us to think about and just some nuts and bolts things on this Screencast-O-Matic. I'll also send you a link to this page so you can see it and refer to what I'm referring to. So just real quickly, we have a staff meeting on Friday at 2 o'clock. And here's our agenda. This year I won't forget to do introductions. I want to introduce a visions conversation, what I'd like to have an ongoing conversation around a few things, vision being one, the PLC process, and then our social thinking, which I'll get into in a little bit. I want to talk about our associate duties. We have to remember that now the associates are tied to students, given where we're at with special ed and budget and everything. So we are not going to have one adult to one student. We are going to split them up so nobody gets too sick of one or each other. I want to touch base on the budget, that $175 budget. Again, there's that social thinking. We're going to review the schedule. I want to give Mrs. Ryan 10 minutes for the coaching update, and then I want to give Mrs. Sandersfeld 10 minutes on the PLC update. And then, yeah, that's that coaches and admin meeting notes that Mrs. Sandersfeld will talk about. So going back to my original document here, I love this little sort of inspirational quote slash poster. Certainly refers to the people we hired this year, who I'm extremely excited to get to work with. It's been fun getting to know them this summer, knowing that they're going to fit in great. And then it also has been fun talking about how great the current staff is and how well everybody is welcoming and how hard they work. And I'm just pumped for this year. Anyway, so in regards to the vision, again, that's that ongoing conversation. The district has a mission, and I believe it has something to do with lifelong learners and productive citizens and all that, which is important. But what I'm hoping for us to do is to be able to talk about what is our vision to help support that, and some examples. So I kind of liken it to a football team whose mission is to win football games, and then their vision for that would be to reduce fumbles, to increase their blocking schemes or something like that. So, in regards to Amana Elementary, we've got such a passion for literacy. What is our vision? What is it we hope to succeed with literacy? Or, we've talked about in the process of revolutionizing what a behavior program looks like. So what is our vision for that? And again, that will be an ongoing conversation that we can sort of touch base with and create and all that fun stuff. One of my favorite things about Amana is we have always sort of, and CCA specifically as well, but being the smaller building, that's sort of the collective responsibility that everybody takes on. It's fun to talk about a fifth grader who's been with us since preschool who might have struggled. And again, it's just kind of fun to celebrate as a group that collective responsibility. The not so fun stuff of our jobs is that office referrals, classroom management. Just so you know, I'm not inclined to deny access to activities identified as necessary. For example, I'm not, I shouldn't say not, but in case somebody's not being safe, but like recess field trips, we've determined those are extremely important. I may limit access to a recess for a safety issue, or I can't think of a lot of field trips I've ever had to change up at all, but art, music, and PE is another one. I'm not going to have a student finish his math before going to art, music, or PE, just like I wouldn't have somebody finish singing a song in music before they go back to literacy. So just so you know, it is a learning opportunity when students come to my office, and we do our best to work on not having to repeat a behavior. This is kind of a personal request of mine. Please don't use my name as a threat. It shifts power away from you, on occasion, and this will happen with some younger, like before and after school staff or something. But I just prefer if by all means, include me when you need me. But if you use my name as a threat, do I need to go get Mr. McCumber? It might work in the immediate, but it's going to bite you in the butt in the end. So typically when a student comes to me, myself, the teacher, and or both will contact the parents, not for every little thing. I mean, I typically like, if it's a very minor offense or something, or somebody just stops in to talk to me or need a little pep talk, I'm not going to always contact the parent. But if it's something serious enough, fighting, biting, kicking, abusive language, I'm not opposed to calling, texting, or emailing. Anytime I email a parent, typically I include the teacher, make sure I get all the details. But I'll sometimes ask, have you contacted the parents? And if you haven't, then I will, or together we will. And again, we're hoping to expand on our social thinking. Again, we'll be talking more about that later, but we're going to set common language. We've started in the last year and a half. A and B choices, is that expected or unexpected? Remember, you'll hear safe and appropriate involved learners. And we've got some nice graphic posters in the hall. Sometimes we'll ask if that a big problem or a little problem. We want to get kids in that social thinking about their behavior, where they're at, and identifying those feelings and different things like that. So again, we'll have more on that, and that will be another ongoing conversation so that we can be sort of clear in our expectations. P cards, this is really jumping around. All else fails, talk to Colleen. Again, we're going to talk about that $175 and what that means. We're going to talk about our specials and lunch schedule. It's pretty similar to last year. Our coverage might not be wonderful for lunch, but we'll talk about that on Friday. Nurses slips, Colleen, I cannot stress this enough. She's got a million things to do. And she's pulled in a bunch of different directions with parents and phone calls and emails and people stopping in. So, the nurse Kathy has a nurse slip for all teachers. Again, unless there's an emergency or anything, if somebody's bleeding from the nose and you just got to get them down to the office, that's cool. But just please, if you do send a student to Colleen because of an illness, make sure that they have that slip. That just makes life for Colleen a lot easier. And again, please don't do it. Don't send a student prior to 8:30 a.m. If they've gotten to school and they've gotten to breakfast, they've gotten to recess, they should at least get to 8:30. I've seen kids in the past kind of use Colleen and the sickness as a quick escape, not wanting to go to class. So anyway, we're gonna again, unless there's extenuating circumstances, students shouldn't be going down to Colleen without before 8:30 and with a slip. So let's see, no students in the nurse's office without an adult or Colleen knowing. Again, the nurse's office is across the hall. It's not the ideal situation, but we certainly try to make it work. So just please make sure an adult knows. Our school day is 8:05 to 3:05, so please make sure your attendance is in by 8:45. That makes life a lot easier on Colleen, again, who's got to follow up with students who aren't either called in or there. If you're needing a sub, hopefully that whole ASOP system makes sense. I would ask that if you do put something into ASOP, it's okay to send me a text as well, because sometimes I don't check that until 7:30 when it might be too late. Healthy snacks and party food. Hopefully Mrs. Borman's going to help organize that again. But our parties do need to have healthy food in them. I'm not opposed to cupcakes and all that fun stuff, but there needs to be a nice little balance. Duties, I don't know exactly how recess is going to work. I'm going to ask that Mr. Berkland and myself and Mrs. Prusha to tackle the morning like we did last year. That's sort of when students get to school, we release them at 7:50 to go outside or a gym recess or something. If I'm not available, I'll ask Mrs. Ryman, or maybe I'll ask a teacher. The bus after school associates, except for Miss Prusha or Miss Walton, I think that they can handle the bus line and all that. So we will have to figure out recesses. We'll use our associates, of course, but there will be after rotation. Tech issues, there's this link that goes right to Joe. Boy, this is just bouncing all over the place. Let's see. First day procedure, all in the past we've sort of done a meet at the flagpole at like 8:15. It was suggested last year. Do it at the end of the day, so it's not so crazy. So at 12:45, let's meet at the flagpole. We'll welcome everybody back, and we won't do the Pledge of Allegiance or anything like that, but we'll try to give everybody a pep talk, and then we'll boot them back in the buildings and send them home. 7:30, our daily procedure is the earliest students can get to school. Bus drops off at the cafeteria door. The students go directly to the cafeteria, do not go to their locker. 4th and 5th graders can go in the hallway in front of the cafeteria. We've sort of added that responsibility. And we have said no electronic devices at that time. So it's a time for them to visit and talk to people, even Pokemon Go. There won't be any Pokemon Go's here. I'm a tree hugger. I always like to say that. So if at all possible, please be mindful of your printing, especially for notifications to parents and things. I've got access to School Messenger and I can send stuff out. But if at all possible, send it out electronically. There's the debate that parents won't read it. Well, we can't make them read it, and I can't help it if they don't. I'm going to skip ahead. There's some here that I only have a few more minutes on this screencast. So got some lunch times in there. Let's see, some of this hopefully can make sense without me explaining it. Let's see, a little change from last year is that fundraising form. There's a district state policy where now you have to request, and Lori's going to talk to this at a different date for fundraisers. So anything donors choose, teachers pay teachers, there's a form you got to fill out before you can even submit anything. Let's see. I'm kind of a big one on phones. I try not to be on my phone in the hall. This is one of those things I need to catch myself on. It's been proven that, that drives me crazy with parents, adults on their phones with kids. It sort of sends the signal that they are not important, whether you think so or not. Contractual hours and expectations, 8 to 4. Certainly, if you need to leave at 3:15 for an appointment, I guess I'd rather help cover your end of the day than try to find a half-day sub. You do have 4 duties as assigned, and then there's also this individual professional development plan. I would suggest you do fill those out in your PLC. This is an electronic link. When you click on it, click on Make a Copy, and then put your name on it and save it and different things like that, so you don't change the main document. So hopefully this all makes sense. We'll see everybody on Friday, probably Thursday, and then Friday for sure. And hopefully this wasn't too goofy. Hope it all made sense. If there's any questions on this, we'll be sure to tackle them. Again, welcome back to 2016 and 2017. I can't wait. Thanks.